In this video, I'm going to be showing you everything that you need to know to successfully start running YouTube ads. This is going to be a complete step-by-step guide that is going to show you exactly how to set up your YouTube ads to get the most sales possible at the cheapest cost. I will also be going over frameworks and best practices for creating your videos and even sharing a master list of a ton of YouTube ads that you can draw for inspiration. Because when it comes to YouTube ads, the videos themselves are a huge part in driving conversions and sales. Now, before we start running YouTube ads, I want to make sure that we're all starting from the same spot. And these are 4 things that do need to be set up before you start running YouTube ads. The first is you do need a Google Ads account. The reason for that is YouTube ads are run through Google Ads. Next, you do need an actual YouTube account. All YouTube ads must be published to a YouTube account. They can be either public or unlisted. Next, you do need to link your YouTube account to Google Ads. Linking the YouTube account to your Google Ads allows you to promote your videos and share performance data with Google, which is critical. And then finally, we need to set up conversion tracking, which allows us to understand which YouTube ads drove the actual results, whether it's sales or leads, etc. So in this tutorial, we're going to assume that you already have a Google Ads account and YouTube account set up. I'm going to show you how to link up your YouTube and Google Ads account. And then for conversion tracking, I'm going to assume that you already have that set up. If not, I will leave resources down below on how to set up conversion tracking. But let me show you real quick how to link your YouTube and Google Ads account. All you need to do is come into your Google Ads account here. We're in this demo account. You're going to come to Tools and Settings. Then you're going to come to Linked Accounts. Now you can see mine is already linked here, but chances are from Google, you're going to see YouTube in here. If you click on the details there, it's going to ask you to connect to your account. From there, it will ask you to go through and connect your YouTube account and sign in. It's helpful if your Google Ads account and your YouTube account are under the same email. It does make the process really easy. And then from there, you are linked. So it's a really fast process. So now that we have our Google Ads account created, we have our YouTube account, and we have it all linked up, it's time for us to start creating our YouTube ads. So the first thing that you're going to do is when you are on this screen, we're just in the Overview tab. We're going to come over here and we're going to click New Campaign. Now here it's going to ask us to choose our objective. If you are trying to get more sales for your website, then you're going to want to choose sales. If you are looking to get more leads for your business, you're going to want to choose leads. For this situation, we are going to go with leads. After you've chosen your objective, it's going to pop up this little screen that is going to show you the conversion goals associated with your account. For this, we only want to optimize towards leads. We're going to hit continue. And then here, of course, is where you're going to want to choose videos. We're then going to hit continue. It's now going to ask for a campaign name. Typically, I'll go through and add the area that I'm targeting and then, some sort of description about it. For this, we're just going to do test campaign, but you can go through and name this whatever you would like. For the bidding strategy, to begin with, I like to start off with max conversions. I seem to have better results going with max conversion bidding. Then you can go through and add your daily budget. We're just going to start off with $20 a day. These networks, when you are using a conversion-based bidding strategy, it does not allow you to opt out of any of these networks. So keep that in mind. We're going to keep opted into all of those. And then here you have your location targeting where you can specify which location you want to target. One thing I do want to point out as well, you can also come over here to this advanced search and then target by radius. Say that you wanted to target 20 miles around Las Vegas for whatever reason. You could click that, and then now you're targeting around Las Vegas. You can go through and add multiple of those radiuses inside of there as well. But for this, we are just going to keep it at the United States. You can go through and add your languages. Now, this is something that is new. You used to be able to add content exclusions at the campaign level, but you can see now it has been added to the account level. So once we go through and build this campaign, I'll show you how to adjust the content exclusions in case you wanted to do that. You can see here, Google does recommend going through and adding site link extensions to your website. For those who aren't familiar with site links, basically here's what they look like. It's just a little drop down where you have your main call to action, which is shop now, but this gives people other offers like connect to your devices, meet your family. Most of the time, this will be like your site navigation. Like if you're an e-commerce store, you can have your shop now or your blog, a link to your blog, a link to your contact page, different things like that. So I do recommend going through and adding your site link extensions. So for Zoco Marketing, for instance, I would just do about us page and then the final URL here. And then you want to go through and add descriptions if possible as well. They take up a little bit more real estate there. And then we're going to just go through and add our contact, contact us. Then you have your final URL. And then here, this could be the blog or shop now. So now we have our site link extensions added. If I want to go through and exit out of these, I can go and hit exit there. That looks great. You can go through and preview what these look like. You can see this is kind of what those ad extensions will look like. If you add the descriptions, that's where they will show up. So we're going to continue on. This is important right here. This is additional settings. There's some really important things to note here. Now you have all devices targeting. You can go through and show on all eligible devices, or you can target a specific device or different operating systems as well. I generally like to opt out of TV screens for most campaigns because most of the time I actually want people to click, and it's a lot harder on TV screens. If you're more of a brand awareness, then you might want to leave that checked, but I usually like to opt out of that. You can see you can go through in all of the operating systems. You can choose a specific one or leave all of them. I typically leave all of them. them, and same with device models as well. And then down below, you have your frequency capping. So you can do a frequency capping on impressions or on view frequency. If you click this, you can see you can do an impression cap based per day, per week, or per month. Typically, I like to do 3 to 5 impressions per week is like a max, because you don't want to be bugging people with hitting up with ads so many times. There is a lot of power in multiple touches, but after a certain amount of time, it just becomes repetitive and annoying for the end user. So typically I like to have an impression cap of 3 to 5 per week. You can also go through and add a view cap as well, but most of the time I just stick with the impression cap. When it comes to the ad group name, I like to come back and name this after I've gone through and built out the audience, so I know which audience is targeting in this ad group. Because when I'm first building out a brand new YouTube campaign, typically this is what it looks like. So you have the campaign right here, which is what we've been building. But inside of that campaign, typically I'll start off with 2 different ad groups. One ad group will be a broad in-market audience, and I'm gonna show you what that means here in a minute. And then the other one will be a custom segment, and it will be one of these 3 custom segments. It'll be people who search for specific keywords, interest in a specific topic, or browse similar websites. I'm gonna show you more about what that means in a minute. A lot of times, if you get more advanced as well, you can create more of these ad groups and target different things, or break these into different campaigns as well. But just as a general rule of thumb, I like to do one broad in-market audience to test, and then another one with at least one of these 3 custom segments. We'll start with the broad in-market audience first, and we're going to go through and add an audience. And for this audience, we are going to be targeting people who are probably similar to you watching right now, people who are interested in learning more about Google ads, TikTok ads, PPC, different things like that. So we're going to go through and add a new audience here. And if you created audiences in the past, you're going to see them right here, but we're going to go through and add a new audience. Now, when you land on this page, there are a lot of different options. You see, you can go through and add the audience name. You can see you have custom segment targeting, your data targeting, interest and detailed demographics. And inside of here, you even have in-market, life events, demographics, and affinity. Just to give you an idea of where these all fall like in a marketing funnel, you can see that demographics and life events are more towards the top, which are self-explanatory. Affinity audiences is kind of like your interest in behavior over the long term. And then in-market audiences, as you get further down the funnel, is people who are in market for a specific thing based on their Google searches. They're actively looking to buy a new desk or a new dog leash or to hire a new plumber. So these people that are further down the funnel, and then down even more, you have your custom segments. These are exactly what they sound like. Custom segments is information that you give Google to go through and target your ideal customer. We're going to be going over those in a minute. And then finally, you have your remarketing list, which can be very powerful as well. And we're going to be talking about those later too. So if we come back over here we have our custom segments. We're going to come back to these. We're going to go right here to the detailed demographics and create our in-market broad targeting. For this, we're going to be targeting people who are interested in learning more about Google ads or PPC and running digital ads themselves. So we're going to go through and type in marketing, and you can see it's going to come up with a lot of different broad topic areas here. So we're going to go through and select one of these. For this example, I'm just going to grab this digital and marketing services. Chances are you only want to go with one of these in-market audiences because this audience will be big enough for you. If you wanted to expand out, you can, but in my experience most of the time, I like to test just starting with one. From here, you could go through and add exclusions to this list if you'd like. Say that you had a customer list that you wanted to go through and exclude, or different website visitors, all converters, things like that. You could go through and exclude those people here. Then I'll typically name this in market and then whatever it is, what we're targeting. So this is digital marketing services. And then you're going to notice that Google is telling me that I'm using 0 of the 2 best practices. That's because I'm not currently using a custom segment or any of my data. The reason for this is I'm going to be using custom segments to test against this audience to see which one performs better. So now we can come through and name this in-market digital marketing. So now we have our ad group targeting built out for this broad in-market audience. And normally from this point, what I would do is go through and continue on with this process. But I do want to show you also how to build out this custom segments as well, so you're aware of that process. So obviously only have one of these in your audience targeting, but for here, we're going to switch audiences for this example and show you how to create a new custom segment and how I would go about doing that. So this, we're going to come into this custom segment. We're going to hit here. We're going to add a new segment. And inside of here, you're going to notice there are lots of different options to target people. You can see you can target people with any of these interests or purchase intentions. So you can see Google defines this as entering keywords describing your ideal customer's interests or products and services they're actively researching to buy. Or you could do this one right here is people who are currently searching terms on Google. Your ads will reach people who search for those and similar terms only on campaigns running on Google properties. So this is if you wanted to target people who are searching specific keywords on Google and other Google properties. Or you have this targeting option down here where you can target people who browse websites similar to websites that you provide. So these are the 3 audiences that I recommend going through and building in this stage right here. And then of course you have the same thing with apps as well. If you wanted to go through and do with apps, So you can see here, I went through and quickly added 12 different keywords of people who are looking to learn Google Ads. So I just have here Google Ads, very broad Google Ads, display campaigns for Google Ads, and then it gets a little bit more long tail, if you will, a little bit more longer, more specific keywords, how to advertise ads on Google, Google Ads, YouTube campaigns, Google Ads marketing strategy. And if you're curious how I do my keyword research, I do have a full tutorial on Google Keyword Planner and how to use that. That's what I typically utilize. It's a free tool. I'll leave a link up above or down below to access that if you want to learn more about keyword targeting. So just give that a name. People wanting to learn Google, go through and save that. And so now you see we have our custom segment all built out, people wanting to learn more about Google. And then we have to give this an audience name as well. So you have like these levels. You have your custom segments and then the audience. So I'm just going to name this the exact same thing, or in Google. We're just going to go through and save that. So now we have this different audience, but we want to go back to our other one. So that's how we would go through and create this second ad group for custom segments. But we want to come back over here to this one, and I'm going to exit out of that and leave this as our audience here, which is in market for digital marketing services. This is something that I've tested in multiple accounts and had mixed results. So for now, I'm going to leave it checked. And from here, this is where you can go through and search for a specific video on YouTube or paste the URL. These can be public or unlisted videos. And so I'm just pasting one of the videos on my YouTube channel here. You can see that it's saying videos longer than 3 minutes don't usually perform as well. But before we move on to this next step, I do want to talk about what does make a good YouTube ad, because this is actually a critical point that I think a lot of people overlook when they are running YouTube ads, is what a video should actually look like. Now, when it comes to YouTube ads, I want you to remember this simple 5-step framework. Now, this is a framework. It doesn't mean it's the law and it's not something you should do every single time, but this gives you a good idea on how to structure your YouTube ads. The first step is your hook. Now, I don't want you ever to underestimate the power of the hook in a video. It is arguably the most important part, because if the hook does nothing, then you don't watch the rest of the video. In the next slide, I'm going to be going over some hook examples for you. After the hook, you have establish a problem. Third, you have reveal the product as a solution to that problem. And fourth is something that I think a lot of ads fall short on, is explaining the benefits or building the trust. You are interrupting this user to show them an ad. And so you need to be able to build trust very quickly and in a very effective way. And then finally, the last is to resolve with a strong call to action. Now, when it comes to different hook ideas, there are a million different ways to hook in users, but here's some simple ideas if you are having troubles getting started. But I do want to quickly run through these. The first one is, what if I told you X? Next, starting with an interesting fact or stat, hinting at a story, curiosity, things like, did you know that this happened, or did you know about XYZ? A pattern interrupt, so something like a bold statement or a contrary view to something that gets somebody to think, wait, that's not the way it is. Proof, showing like a graph or how you actually did something to give yourself more credibility and pique the user's interest. You could start with a problem and offer solution, and then finally a before and after comparison. And this, of course, is not a comprehensive list. There are lots of different hooks outside of this, but this is a good list to get started. And if you're looking for more real examples, I encourage you to check out this link down below to get access to this YouTube ad examples, which will show you different industries, the link to the actual video, and the hook type as well. There's lots inside of here, and I'm going to be continuing to add more to this list as well. So hopefully that will help you out if you're looking for more inspiration. And now that we have an idea on the creative, let's actually go through and fill out the rest of this ad. So you can see here, you can go through and add the final URL. I do recommend sending people to a relevant landing page. In this case, we're just going to send it to the home page. So I just went through and quickly filled this out. You can see you can add a 15-character headline. You can add a 90-character long headline and a short description. You can see here's some examples of what this will look like if you scroll through. It doesn't give you a ton of room to go through and add these characters, so it can be kind of tricky there. You can go through and upload a custom image for your banner, for the channel banners. I usually just leave this on auto generated, but if you had a specific image, you could go through and upload it here. And if you wanted to preview what it looks like on desktop, you can see here, and then this is where that little banner will end up showing. So usually I just leave it as is, but if you want to go through and customize that, you totally could. The last thing we're going to do is go through and hit create campaign and then continue. And that is going to take us to this view right here where we have our first ad group. And like I said, because I like to test multiple audiences and targeting inside of here, what I will do from this point is go through and create a new ad group. This one will be called my custom audience, custom segment. And then from here, you can go through and add an audience, and you can choose the audience that we created here, which is the people who want to learn from Google, your custom segments. And then go through and create that exact same ad. That way you can test these different audiences against each other. And now I do want to quickly show you some things that you should be aware of now that your ads are live, or different options inside of here in the back end of Google Ads. So the first thing is, if you do want to go through and add content exclusions that we talked about before earlier in the video, you can come here to tools and settings, and then there's this new thing for content sustainability. Inside of there is where you can go through and adjust your content inventory. So you can see you can have the expanded inventory, which shows basically on excessive profanity and different things like that. And then you have your standard inventory, and then you're limited if you wanted to be more safe. And keep in mind, mind that this will adjust this for the entire account, not just for that one campaign. And if you wanted to be even more advanced and excludes things very specifically, you can come through and opt out of any of these different things inside of here as well. So lots of different options for you as an advertiser. Now that you're aware of that, we can head back now. It can take up to 24 hours for your ad to start showing. It has to go through the review process. And you see you have all of these different stats here that you can go through and look at. You can go through and add columns and modify these columns to add even more stats inside of here, such as your average CPC, average CPM, all these different things. You're going to want to pay close attention to these metrics. Now, if you're curious on what a good benchmark looks for these YouTube ads, here's some simple benchmarks to keep in mind when you're first starting out. The first is an average click-through rate. A good click-through rate on YouTube is anything above a 0.5%. An average cost per 1,000 views, you're looking at about $11.80. I've noticed this jumps pretty dramatically based on the niche that you are in, but as a general rule of thumb, around $11 to $12. And then the average view rate is 10 to 15%. This is according to Google, which I actually think is kind of low. In my experience, a lot of the campaigns that I'm running, the average view rate is more closer to 20 to 30% is what you want to be shooting for, but as a low benchmark, 10 to 15%. Now, if you're still around, I want to teach you a little bit of an advanced feature, one that is an absolute game changer, and that is how to create audiences to remarket to people who viewed your YouTube videos. So if you come in here to tools and settings and come over to audience manager, you can see you can go through and you can add new audiences here, and you have YouTube users. And from here, what you can do is you can go through and you can see our YouTube account is connected, and there are all sorts of different actions you can take here. You can target people who viewed any video, viewed certain videos, viewed any video as an ad, viewed any certain videos as an ad, subscribe to the channel, visit the channel page, or liked any video. So in this case, say that I was running ads to get people who are interested in Google Ads. I could go through and target anybody who viewed certain videos related to, if I just type in Google Ads on my channel, you can see I go through and target all of the anybody who's watched any of my Google Ads videos, basically. So you can imagine this could become a very powerful option in remarketing. And once you've gone through and selected all the videos you'd like, you can then go through and add a pre-fill option, which means this will pre-fill the last 30 days, anybody who's watched those videos. And you could even make this so instead of the last 30 days, if you want to make it bigger, you can go up to, 365 or 180 days. And you can go through and name this, people who watched Google Ads videos. And then you can go through and save this audience. And once you have these remarketing audiences complete, there's lots of advanced things that you can do. Namely, what I like to do is take my broad targeting campaigns, the ones that we created in this video, and I will retarget those people who viewed those to a certain completion. And I'll go through all of these different settings right here. And that typically is where most of the money is in this remarketing pool. This is a little bit more of an advanced technique. And so if enough people are interested, I will go through and make it. If you are interested, comment remarketing strategy down below so I can go through and show you this entire strategy as well. And if you got value out of this video today, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video.